Welcome to the next video of M classes, and in this we'll be explaining or I'll be talking about another example of a recursive function. So before I go into the programming, let me just explain that how the recursive function may work. Now let us imagine that you have to count candies that is kept inside a jar, and there is a condition that there are four jars which are kept in one after one inside another. So there is one, and there is two, 3, and there is 4. Let us name it. This is 4, 3, 2, and 1. So there are 4 jars are there, candy jars are there, and my job is to open every candy jar and calculate that or find out to how many total numbers of candies are there. Let us consider I opened jar number 4, let's say. So I opened jar number 4. So inside that there will be some candies, and also there is jar number 3 is there. So what will happen if I open jar number 4? So basically I will find 4 candies, and along with that I will also find jar number 3, right? So my counting is not complete here. Why? Because jar number 3 I have not opened. I don't know how many inside that. So in jar number 3, let us say there is 3 candies are there. So in the next step what I will do, already 4 candies I have counted. In jar number 3 I will find 3 candies, and along with that I will find jar number 2 also. Still my counting is not complete because jar number 2 I have to open. So finally I will be doing 4 plus 3, and in jar number 2 I find 2 candies there, and also I find jar number 1 as well. So finally the jar number 1 if I open, so I will get 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, so that is equals to 10. So total 10 candies are there. Now what has happened here? So basically every jar is called as a function. So every jar I'll consider that this is a function I have to do, that open the jar, and inside the jar whatever is there I need to count that. So once I open the first jar, so there are 4 candies, I counted that. Along with that there is another function is there, that means jar 3 is there. So when I opened jar 3, so I got this thing, 3 plus jar 2, and 4 was already there. So like this if I go on further, so finally I'll open all the jars till the last jar is there, and I'll find the total sum is 10. Now let us do one thing. We'll be trying to implement this particular thing in our programming. Let me just clear this. Okay, so to write the program, here I am in the Jupyter lab. So first of all, what I need to do, first thing is define a function, because recursive function we are going to do. So first I will be defining a function, and for that let me take a function as def is the keyword I have to use, and let's take the function name is sum of numbers, let's say. Fine. So what I am going to do here is I am going to calculate the sum of numbers up to 4. Fine. And here we'll pass a argument as well, let's say n. So while calling the function we'll give the value of n, and here we'll write if n equals to 1, return. So it will just return a value 1, because if the n value is 1, then there is no point of calculating any sum, so it will just return 1. Else in other condition, it will just return n plus some numbers n. So here, sorry, n minus 1. So here what I did, if I get the n equals to 1, then it will return the value 1. If it is more than 1, then it will return whatever the value of n is there, plus whatever the plus the next sum of numbers it will call itself, it will call the function again. So you can imagine that in the example that I have given, that I opened jar number 1, let's say n value, let's say n equals to 4. Fine. So here what will happen, first it will open the jar number 4, that means it will find the sum of numbers as a function, and the argument value is n. If n is equals to 1, the condition is false, so it will come to the else condition. So where what I have written, so n plus sum of some numbers n minus 1. Now what is this n value? This n value is 4. Fine. plus sum of number, that is the same function I am calling inside the function again, and here I have written n minus 1. That means I found what is the value of jar number 4. Now I am trying to find inside that jar number 3 will be there. So like this it will go on, and this value also will return to the main program. Now if I execute this, obviously it is a function definition, so there will be no absolute code, so that that can run it. I need to call the function for that. While calling the function, let us first take the input. Let me take integer input from the user, and we'll ask the user to enter a number for finding the sum. Okay, fine. So next is I'll be I want the function value to be passed to the function definition. So for that I'll call the function. Let me write result as a variable, and that is equals to sum numbers, that is my function, and I'll pass the variable x here. So what I have done, I have taken the input x from the user, then I calculate the result, and that is equal to sum of number x. And because I am using return function here, so whatever the value will be calculated at last, that will be stored in the result variable. And lastly we will print the result value. So here I can just print like this with a statement, the sum of x numbers. Let's say, let us write x numbers is, and the result is here, result. Okay, so this will be my function, print function, that I will be using. Now let us execute this code. First it will ask to enter a number. I'll enter 4, let's say, and it will return the sum of 4 numbers each 10. Now how this is happening in the function call, let us understand step by step here. Okay, first time when I execute this code, the value of x is equals to 4, and hence n will be equals to 4. Now when n is equals to 4, let me write here as a comment. Okay, so when n value is equals to 4, for the first condition, if n equals to 1, the condition will be false. In that case, it will come to the else condition where this line will be executed. Now what is this line says? So this line says n, that means 4, plus then some numbers n minus 1, that is 3. Okay, okay, this is very similar that we have written 4 plus jar 3. Now here the final calculation is not completed, so sum of number 3 is again a function. Now if that has to be executed, then what will happen? 4 plus 3 plus, why plus 3? Because now I am executing sum of number 3. In this case the value of n will become 3. This first condition is false, it will come here, and the result will be 3 plus some numbers 2. So that's what I'm writing. So 3 plus some numbers 2. Okay, now here also the program is not complete because one more function is called here. So what is this function? Sum of number of 2. Now here the value of 3 will become 2, it will change to 2. Same, first condition is false, so it will come to the second condition, and here we will find it becomes 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus some numbers 1. So 2 plus some numbers 1, that means 2 plus some numbers n minus 1, that is 1. Now what? Now finally I have to execute this sum numbers 1. So how do I execute it? In this case n value will be equals to 1. If n is equals to 1, then here the condition will be satisfied and it will return a single value, that is equals to 1, and no further calculation will be there. So here it will be finally 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. Sorry. So plus 1 will be there, which is equals to 10. So this is how it will be calculated. The recursive function, now what is happening here? So how many times the function is being called here? 1, 2, 3. So 3 times it will call the function. So the function is reoccurring or being called by itself. That's why it is called as recursive function. In this video we just saw that how we can add a number using recursive function. In the next video we'll see how we can create the Fibonacci series as well. So please stay tuned and see the next video.